March 4, 2003, Phoenix, Arizona, 9:47 a.m. Conference Room, B, FBI Field Office. A woman named Laurie Anderson sits across from two FBI agents in a federal building conference room. She has driven herself here. She called them first. There is no lawyer beside her. There is no deal on the table yet. The agents slide a photograph across the desk. She looks at it without flinching. That is her husband in the photo, standing next to a man the FBI has been hunting for 4 years. Moving money that has funded 3 separate terror cells across 2 continents. Her husband, the man she has shared a bed with for 11 years, the man who coached their daughter's soccer team every Saturday morning, the man who told her he worked in international trade. She slides the photograph back. "I know," she says. "I have been watching him for 8 months. I have everything you need." What the FBI does not know yet is that this woman has done something no trained operative managed to do. She has built a complete financial evidence trail against one of the most careful money launderers in the country. From inside his own home, using his own files, his own phone, his own trust in her. She did not have legal authority, formal training, or a single person she could call when things felt impossible. She had a marriage license, a notebook hidden in a bathroom cabinet, and 8 months of absolute silence. How does an ordinary woman dismantle her husband's criminal empire from the inside, and what does it cost her to do it? For 11 years, David Anderson has been hiding in plain sight. He coaches youth soccer on Saturday mornings. He attends the neighborhood block parties. He donates to the school fundraiser every year without being asked. In Phoenix, Arizona, he is exactly what he appears to be. A successful international trade consultant with a beautiful home, a devoted wife, and a daughter named Emma, who wants to be a veterinarian. What the neighbors do not know is that David Anderson has been moving money for a decade. Not ordinary money, blood money. The kind that travels through shell companies registered in Cyprus and the Cayman Islands, that moves through real estate transactions in Dubai, that surfaces as legitimate consulting fees paid to companies that employ nobody and exist only as names on paper, filed in jurisdictions where nobody asks questions. His clients are not businesses. They are men whose names appear on watch lists in 3 countries, men whose operations fund violence that appears in news headlines with no explanation of where the financing came from. David is not the muscle. He is the brain. He is meticulous. Every meeting happens in a different city. Every communication uses a different device. He has memorized which investigators are assigned to which cases and tracks their public statements the way a chess player tracks an opponent's pieces. Always 2 moves ahead, always aware of where the danger is coming from before it arrives. He has built a financial architecture so carefully layered that investigators who have been looking at him for 2 years cannot find a single transaction they can prove is illegal. Every wire transfer has a legitimate explanation. Every company has a paper trail that leads to another paper trail that leads to another company. He is, in the language of federal law enforcement, completely clean on paper, which is exactly what makes him so dangerous. Laurie Anderson has known something is wrong for longer than she has admitted to herself. The business trips that never quite match the cities he claims to visit. The phone calls he takes outside, always outside, hours regardless of weather. The second laptop she found once in his car and never mentioned because the look on his face when he saw her near it told her everything she needed to know. She has been filing these observations away for years without a name for them. In June 2002, she finds the name. June 14th, 2002. A Saturday morning. David is at the soccer field with Emma. Laurie is in the home office looking for the car insurance documents. She opens the wrong drawer. Inside, she finds a folder. It is unlabeled. It is sitting beneath a stack of tax returns she has seen before. She almost closes it without looking. She does not. Inside the folder are bank statements for accounts she has never seen. Wire transfers in amounts that make no sense for a consulting business. Names of companies she has never heard David mention. And at the bottom of the folder be a handwritten list of names, 8 of them, with dollar amounts beside each one, and dates going back 4 years. She stands in that home office for 11 minutes without moving. She is not a lawyer. She is not an investigator. She is a middle school science teacher from Phoenix who has just discovered that her husband's entire professional life is a construction, that the man she married is not who she believed him to be, that she has been living inside a lie so complete and so carefully maintained that she never had a reason to question it. Her first instinct is to confront him. She does not. Something stops her. A calculation she cannot fully explain but trusts completely. If she confronts him, he will know she knows. And if he knows she knows, the evidence disappears. The folder disappears. Everything disappears. And she becomes a liability. She puts the folder back exactly as she found it. She goes downstairs. She starts making lunch. When David comes home with Emma at noon, she hands him a sandwich and asks him how the game went. She has just made the most important decision of her life, and her face shows nothing. What Laurie Anderson does over the next 8 months is something trained intelligence officers spend years learning to do. She becomes two people simultaneously. The first person is the wife David has always known, warm, present, asking the right questions about his trips, interested in his work without being suspicious, laughing at his jokes, sleeping beside him every night without letting her body betray what her mind is doing every waking hour. The second person is building a case. She begins slowly, photographing documents when he is not home, writing down names she hears on phone calls, memorizing account numbers from papers left on his desk. She buys a small notebook and hides it inside a box of tampons in the bathroom cabinet, the one place in the house she knows he will never look. Every week the notebook fills. She develops a system. Every Sunday evening while David watches football, she photographs that week's documents. She uses the camera on her phone, holds it steady, deletes the originals from her camera roll, and transfers copies to an encrypted folder she creates with a password David has never seen. She labels the folder Emma School Photos. He passes it every day on the shared family computer and never opens it. She is terrified every moment, not of getting caught, of something worse, of finding out how deep it goes. Every new document she photographs reveals another layer, another company, another transfer, another name she does not recognize but that she will later learn appears in federal databases as a known associate of people who have done terrible things. She has no way to know if she is building something useful. She has no training, no guidance, no one she can ask. She cannot tell her sister. She cannot tell her closest friend. She cannot tell anyone, because the moment she tells someone, it becomes real in a way she can no longer control. For 8 months, she carries it completely alone. The hardest moments are not when she is searching his files. The hardest moments are at dinner. Emma talking about school, David laughing, the three of them looking from outside exactly like a family. And Laurie sitting there knowing that every laugh is built on something that will eventually collapse and take everything with it. Is this enough? She writes in the notebook one night after David falls asleep. Is any of this what they need? She underlines the question twice and never answers it. She keeps going. By February 2003, she has photographed over 200 documents. She has recorded 3 phone conversations using a handheld recorder she bought for cash at a drugstore. She has a complete map of the shell company network, drawn by hand in the notebook, connecting David's consulting firm to 11 offshore entities across 7 countries. She has no idea if any of it will hold up in court. She calls the FBI on March 1, 2003. When the FBI agents see what Laurie Anderson has brought them, the room goes quiet. Not the polite quiet of people being patient. The specific quiet of professionals who have just seen something they were not expecting. The lead agent, a 17-year veteran of financial crimes cases, will later describe the moment in private. He says he has sat across from informants, witnesses, whistleblowers, and cooperating defendants his entire career. He has never sat across from someone who walked in off the street with what Laurie Anderson put on that table. What she has assembled in 8 months, from inside a target's home, with no training, no legal authority, and no protection if she had been discovered, is more comprehensive than what their 2-year investigation had produced. The shell company map alone takes their financial crimes unit 3 days to verify. Every connection she identified checks out. Every account number is real. The 3 recorded phone calls contain conversations that a federal prosecutor will later describe as some of the most damaging evidence presented in the case. Her notebook becomes the foundation of a federal case that will eventually produce 11 indictments across 2 countries. David Anderson is arrested on March 11, 2003, 7 days after Laurie walks into the FBI building. He is taken from his car in the school parking lot after dropping Emma off. He does not resist. He does not run. He looks, witnesses say, like a man who already knows. He is convicted in 2004 on 12 counts of money laundering and conspiracy. He is sentenced to 22 years in federal prison. The prosecution describes the evidence against him as among the most complete financial documentation they have ever presented in a money laundering case. They do not mention in open court where most of it came from. Laurie Anderson's cooperation is kept partially sealed to protect her and Emma. Banchawa. She receives no financial reward, no formal commendation. Her name does not appear in any press release. She does receive one thing: a letter from the lead FBI agent on the case, written personally, outside official channels. He writes that in 20 years of federal law enforcement, he has never seen a civilian demonstrate the discipline, the patience, and the courage that she demonstrated over 8 months inside that house. He writes that the case they built together will matter, that the people whose money David was moving will be disrupted in ways that will take years to fully understand. He writes that what she did was truly extraordinary. She frames the letter carefully and keeps it in a box she does not display. Emma Anderson is 9 years old when her father is arrested in the school parking lot. She is 19 when he is released, a version of him she does not recognize from the childhood photographs. When Laurie Anderson files for divorce 3 days after David's arrest, she sells the house. She and Emma move to a smaller apartment in a different part of the city. She goes back to teaching middle school science. She drives a 2001 Honda. She does not speak publicly about what she did for many years. There is no support system for what she has been through, no category for it. She is not a victim in the traditional sense. She is not a hero in any official record. She is a woman who made a decision in a home office on a Saturday morning and then spent 8 months alone inside that decision before it was over. She attends therapy for 2 years. She does not find it particularly helpful. What helps, she will say later, is teaching. Standing in front of 30 12-year-olds every day who need to understand how ecosystems work and why cells divide. The ordinariness of it. The fact that it requires her full attention and gives her no room to circle back to the questions she cannot fully answer. Emma does not speak to her father for 6 years after his arrest. When she eventually does, Laurie does not ask her what was said. Some things belong only to the people who carry them. When she eventually speaks, in a 2009 interview with a federal law enforcement publication that uses only her first name, she says one thing that stays with everyone who reads it. She is asked whether she would do it again. Whether, knowing what it cost her, the marriage, the house, the life she had built, the father Emma lost, she would make the same choice in that home office on a Saturday morning in June. She thinks about the answer for a long time. Then she says, "I found out who my husband really was. I had a choice between protecting my daughter from a secret or protecting her from a lie. I chose the lie. I would choose it again." David Anderson remains in federal custody serving his sentence. The network he served has never fully recovered from the disruptions that followed his conviction and the intelligence that his financial records provided to authorities in 3 countries. Somewhere in a box that does not get displayed, there is a letter from an FBI agent who spent 20 years watching people do difficult things. He says he never saw anything quite like what she did. He is still right.